And welcome back to another BobBlast. Hi, I'm Bob Burridge, and this one is all about how color combinations work for me, and especially loose color combinations, and why the color wheel. I know you all have a color wheel hiding somewhere. Get it out and use it. But let me show you why to use it, because it makes your job a whole lot easier when you can just focus on your thing and the pain that you're working on, as opposed to trying to think of everything else. So I start off with the right color combinations that seem to be universally acceptable. We'll put it at that. I know there's books and schools written on different theories on colors. I just use the simple one. Here's one that's the universal color wheel, 12 colors. And if you use certain color combinations, it almost instantly guarantees a successful painting. At least a better chance if you use it in the right combinations. So that gave me the idea of the Munsell Color System. He only uses 10 colors. And if you use very specific color combinations, this is what you get. And I've been using this modified color wheel, Munsell Color, to match the Holbein paints. People ask me what kind of paints they use. It's Holbeins because they're very thick and they have high peaks and they're super saturated with paint. And that's the whole reason I use them, okay? Because I like to paint. Anyway, they're super professional, the Holbein ones. I'm using their acrylics, okay? And if you use very specific color combinations from the modified Munsell color wheel that I use to match the Holbein colors, bingo, now I have my color wheel, which kind of works something like that. And if you use very specific color combinations, I think you got the idea. So now these are some of the ones I'm still working on, but very loose. Always start loose. Not that tiny little brush. Oh, I have to get it just so right. No, you don't. Paint it wrong first. That's a great way to kind of get going, right? So don't pay attention to all the rules. This is one of the rules I do pay attention to. It increases my chance of a successful painting right at the very beginning if I follow that one rule. All right, so these are the color combinations that I'm putting together right now and starting off extremely loose. That's the whole idea here. First, kind of like the first 10 minutes in the morning. Just pick one, color combinations, just get out those colors. Just one combination of those colors, put them on your table, and one canvas, watercolor paper, whatever you've got going here, and you practice for about 10 minutes on one color combinations. If you did that for 30 minutes every day for 30 days, I guarantee you, you'll be a much better painter. Let me show you how I start off my early morning day in the studio using this technique. Before I start a painting, I decide on the color combinations and I get only those colors out on the table. So in this case, the dominant color will be somewhere in the light blue, kind of like a baby blue with a little bit of pink in there maybe. Okay, that's the dominant color. And the second color I put out will be this focal point color, and that's number 2. In this case, it'll be red. All right, and then I had the 2 spice colors, which are closer to the focal point, number 3 and 4. This one happens to be kind of a Hansa yellow, and over here the other spice color is a purple violet type of color. They're the only 4 combinations of colors that I put out, and maybe some variations of that. So for red, there's your red. It's a Holbein acrylic red, boom. And the dominant color will be blue. So I have like 3 blues. I like choices, don't you? And so here's the color that matches my wheel, and maybe some other blues. So I have compost blue number 1 and compost blue number 2. It's a slightly bluer, slightly warmer one. And this is the one we all love, the ultramarine deep blue, okay? And so that's so I like to have a choice for my dominant. You'll see how I get started. Then the focal point, all right? It's about just a focal point, about 10% of the footprint in this big blue painting, right? And then just in case you miss it, my spice colors are like little crown jewels around the focal point. In this case, it'll be a little bit of yellow and a little bit of violet. And so I do have variations of that. There's my violets. And for fun, because I just happen to love to paint with the Luminous Opera, that's that hot pink, fluorescent pink, that I like to mix into some of these colors. It gives it a nice glow. And of course, I have my big dollops of white and black and big giant buckets of water, not little tiny teacups of water. And now I'm going to get started. So I had this idea of a couple's walking through an ancient city, you know, visiting tourists, that type of thing. And they have flowers in their hands and they're just really having a great time. Maybe it's someplace I want to go right now, just kind of relaxing. And that's what this is all about. So I sketched it out. And now I'm going to take a look at my colors. That they're not really the color combinations I want to use. So I've shown you the colors. The dominant color is going to be blue. And here I'm all set up. Big brushes, my color wheel. Again, I look at it mostly blue. And here we go. Let's get some blue going on in here. Now, here's the thing about the color wheel. I'm not trying to match it exactly. That's what people keep getting the wrong idea. No. This is just to get me started. And this is when the creativity takes over, improvisation takes over. And here we go. Cleaner colors too. These are not, it's mostly going to be blue. These are the couples. These are my carrot people, right? Starting that way. And I'm going to have a strange lighting going on. So I have my white in here too. So I'm going to bring in the white right off the bat. And picking up a little bit of yellow, which turns this blue into a green. I don't really necessarily want the green, but I've got it right now. I'm not going to freak out. Go to blue, get it back to the blue. So I have the light up in here. I'm going to make some light up in here to the figures, right? Because the background is going to be a darker blue. Remember my Rembrandt system here that I like to use. Dark to light. Make this blue slightly different. And there we go. And keep working all over at the same time. That's the other thing I like to keep stressing. Don't stay in one place too long. Bringing in some light in here. See that this archway gives me the idea of going through a narrow alley, that kind of a thing. And so I'm drawing and painting all at the same time, making sure that the whole painting holds together. So we have light up in here. I want this bottom part to be darker. I like to paint on top of wet, especially this paint doesn't get muddy. So get in, get out. Don't sit there and start tickling it to death. That's when you get into trouble. Now a little bit of black on my brush. Oh, I'm making this alleyway, you know, like an ancient Roman alleyways somewhere in France. Wow, starting to develop here. So I'm now starting to concentrate not only on color, but contrast. The eye is going to go to the part of the painting that has the part that's in focus. Hard edges, right? Soft edges disappear. That's the whole idea. It's like squinting. Again. Now let's see, what's the other color? Red. Imagine that. Red is the focal point. I still have some green over here. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to get right into this focal point. Let's put it right in here. It's going to be obvious. Maybe a red top. Yeah, I like that color. If I touch it anymore, it's going to start to turn brown. It loses its punch because it's all still wet underneath there. And just to freak everybody out, let's put in some of that hot pink. All right, for now. And it amuses me. Now I'm bringing in some of the yellow, as the yellow is around the focal point. I call these my spice colors. And see how it just surrounds the whole focal point idea. Bring some of it in here like they're carrying flowers. The other spice color is that purple. We'll see where that goes. The whole idea, of course, is to paint something you've never seen yourself ever having done before. Why do what you did last week? Moving forward here, folks. And here's the other one. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't want to take away too much from them, so I'm bringing the eyes back here again. I like how she kind of disappears. If that is a she, I don't know yet. I came to too quick of a judgment. Well, I like how it's developing and back into the dominant color. More white. The dominant color is this blue, but now I'm starting to neutralize it a little bit. Yeah, I like to neutralize it because it makes the pure colors stronger. Yeah, I like that. And come in here with this. Boy, that's cutting the painting right down the middle, isn't it? Well, we'll address that later. Draw attention away from itself. Yeah, and that's what I'll do. You go right back to the focal point, and that's why you're doing this. So we have my light up in here. I'll reach over here. Really make the light lighter. And I want to do it with the yellow with a lot of white on in it. Canary, kind of a canary color. Yeah. Making the heads smaller. Right now the heads are way too big. But I'm going to give her a fancy head something. Either ribbons or and give her longer neck. Makes her more feminine. And then back here is somebody else. Fancy headgear also. Broad shoulders. Okay, yeah, I don't like the head tilt. There we go, make the head smaller. We all make our heads too big. Everybody looks like aliens. Whatever they look like, I don't know. There you go. And I like the painterliness going on here. So there's some out of focus areas. Soft edges, yeah, hard edges become in focus, right? Boy, I like this a lot. I'm spending way too much time up in here, but I'm enjoying it. And narrow her shoulders. Made them too narrow. There we go. Out of focus. Nice. Well, there you go. That's the beginning of how I got that painting, which was just a very loose sketch, back into a loose painting still, but now following the dominant color being blue. All different kinds of blues, right? I continue back. Always going back into it again. Oh, nice. Yeah, making this not so harsh so it's not drawing attention from them. Yeah, and a little bit out of focus too at the same time. Yeah, don't make it perfect. Painting is not perfect. There we go. That's why we're painting, I think. We're giving art interpretation, not to copy something that everybody else can see. open this up a little bit. Yeah, so it's not so one-sided. I like that. I want to throw some of this color around more. I'm mixing the hot pink, this fluorescent pink, in with some of this color that's already on my brush. Yeah, I like it. It gives some kind of structure-ish type of thing, which I like. I don't know about this area. It looks kind of dull, and that's okay. I don't need to have color everywhere, but it draws the eye right. I'm making the point that this is the focal point. And look, the focal point doesn't have to be the biggest thing. The dominant, that's why we call it the dominant, it will be blue. Really dark blue. It may not come across that way right now, but it'll be a dark blue. And different kinds of blues. The focal point, according to my wheel, is the red, and I think it was Matisse that said, to make red more noticeable, you make it smaller. Ingenious. I thought that was just ingenious. And there you are. Look where your eye goes. Of course, there's a lot of contrast there too. It's another way to draw the viewer's eye into the part of the painting that's in focus, and see how much in focus this is and how much out of focus this side is. And it's pretty obvious on this one. And then a little bit of the yellow and a little bit of purple. Well, we're starting to run out of time, but there you go. And this is where I'm going to put my yellows. It's like a bouquet of some, maybe they're carrying something like that. And maybe some purples in here. We'll see where we go with that kind of thing. But then I like to come in and drawing by scraping. Yeah, that might be a bouquet of some sort. Yeah, I just can't help but draw all the time. I like to show the hand of the artist, so to speak. Okay, I'm going to stop for now. And that's using a combination loosely at the start in less than 5 minutes. That's how you should have paint everywhere, sometimes even on the canvas. I always start off with a combination of 4 colors, and you have to go jump in there and start swimming and see how you get to the other side. Well, I hope you enjoyed doing that and trying that, and you're going to have a great time. Keep practicing that, and it'll be so much more effortless for you. So thanks for watching, but I would be remiss if I had not mentioned anything about how sad I am, and pretty much sad of the whole art community, of cheap Joes closing their doors and their catalog and their stores. Great people that work there, and the workshops that I was able to do there with them and through them, and the wonderful people, you know who we're talking about, that worked there for them. I'm going to miss them. They meant an awful lot to Kate and I during all these wonderful years of knowing them. Well, I hope you enjoyed this BobBlast. I'm looking forward to doing many more with you all. So make sure you tune in, and I'll see you on the next BobBlast.